Thanks for tuning in. We wanted to do a quick proof of concept on the Kaptivo device. This is Randy Marcotte. You've got Mike Renatos, our Director of Sales. Go ahead and wave for us, Mike. Chris Alvarez in Marketing and Sales. He helps support all of our deals. And then the awesomeness that is Riddell Wilson, one of our sales and account managers. We wanted to show the traditional use of video conferencing, whiteboarding, and content sharing, and where Kaptivo comes in to really improve the experience. So already in room, we're sharing and showing what is traditionally one of the problems of video conferencing. If you've got any questions about this, you can hit us up at sales@perfectvc. And if you're a far end participant, you're now being blocked by what I'm doing, so you're having a hard time seeing that. Or you can hit us up if you've got a support question, just at support@perfectvc. I've chosen what is a pretty dry marker here, so it doesn't present typically well on board. We're seeing Chris Alvarez's content, so let's go ahead and move over to the Kaptivo website so you can see how to contact them. Right, and it kind of tells you what Kaptivo is. You see a nice picture of it. I'm going to turn on the light to show kind of the other traditional issues of a video conferencing solution. And then on this recording, we're actually going to attach a couple of pictures we've taken of the whiteboard, so you can kind of see the various other ways people capture whiteboards. Everyone's got a smartphone in the room, so they obviously can just take a picture of content, but then who owns that picture? Where do they send that picture? How do you get that picture? And are you actually capturing the quality that you need? So we'll move into what Kaptivo is and what it does for our customer base and why we're extremely excited about it. But it is this arm above us that looks down through camera at the whiteboard, and then there's a button in room that you'll end up by using as a way of securing the video call, and securing the room, so you can't get access to the board unless the moderator functions. And Chris is dialed in as the moderator. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at Chris's desktop and the Kaptivo board. So thanks, Chris, and go ahead and over to the Kaptivo page. He went to kaptivo.live and entered a pairing code. That pairing code on this particular board was XTZVMV. But now we have a participant, Riddell, that wants to join. So Riddell, why don't you go ahead and request access to the board for us. So as a moderator, Chris is going to have the ability to then say yes or no on that. So you're seeing Chris's desktop. He is currently the moderator of the board. Riddell, should I move on to Mike, or are you good with that?
I'm in already.
Okay, so you had already done the request.
I just did it, and he accepted it right now.
Cool. All right, let's have Mike do the same thing then. So Mike, you're going to go ahead and request access to the board, and you'll see it pop up for Chris to moderate and let him in. He did it already? Okay. Mike, let's have you exit and come back in. I wanted to record those functions of the end user coming in. Now, what Chris can also do is he can actually look at the participants. And then so go ahead and Chris, check on that participant. He can actually see who is in that. And then he can invite by email, or he can share a link. So in the event as a moderator, you want to send this out to other folks. And there you go. Here's the exit and come back in. So the moderator gets to allow and not allow. So go ahead and choose your option. What they then now have is full access to the Kaptivo board. So let's have Riddell or Mike, which one of you feel like sharing content? We can toggle participants in content sharing. Doesn't matter. We can say with Chris, one of you volunteer, or we'll move on.
I can do it.
Great. So Chris stops the traditional video conferencing behavior. Mr. Alvarez will stop content sharing. Now, in a classroom perspective, usually it's just one person doing all of this. You don't have the back and forth, but in the video conferencing world, you may toggle back and forth. The great content that's being captured is here at the whiteboard. What we end up by having is not only the ability for everyone to see it in real time, and so then as I go in and annotate, you'll see some cleanup. The other thing that's great about this that we really like is I've already created an agenda for this room, and if I bring that agenda on my traditional flip charts and paste it you'll notice in the content sharing that Kaptivo will correct what's on the board and bring that in. So it gives it a moment to clear up and decide what's there. And voila, we now have a change in content. Pretty cool feature. So the agenda for today is to really review, and I'm just going to use the markers to clear out some stuff. You'll see as I'm talking, Kaptivo will correct on it. We wanted to make sure we did a video call. That part is done. We wanted to make sure we were doing a recording. That piece is done. We're capturing the call and capturing the content being created. Done. We're bringing content in and toggling between participants. Also done. We wanted to explain how it works. And we showed the arm and the security button and the pairing code. And here again is your pairing code. So if you've got really rich content being created with some crappy markers, you know that your facilitator can use the Kaptivo board to really improve the experience. And then we wanted to look at the traditional issues of video conferencing and how do you correct the room. On the recording, you'll notice that there's a lot of glare from the light. With Kaptivo, all we have is a little bit of the yellow washout on the screen, so it does a lot to correct the challenges in the room of being able to see the content clearly. If I turn off that light, you'll see that get fixed. You now actually see the shadow coming in from that. So kind of a cool effect. When I'm done with my report, my agenda, I can go back to the original content. You'll see Kaptivo clear that out, correct back for where we were, and then show the key features that we really love. It's that incremental capture, the ability to send it over a video call, the ability to broadcast securely, the ability to save and send. So, Mike, let's go ahead and have you show the timeline option, please. So Mike's going to go to the bottom of this. On the left, click timeline. If I had content from the very beginning, he can scroll all the way to the beginning of the presentation and see what was there. Because Chris Alvarez is hosting, he'll have even a deeper timeline, which is what you'll see on the recording. So to wrap up, we've demonstrated Mr. Alvarez hosting, Riddell joining, Mike potentially getting a copy. So let's, while I'm finishing this up, let's change content sharing back to Chris Alvarez and we'll show that last one. And we've talked a lot about the data. So Chris, go ahead and share your content again. No challenge in content capture, the awesomeness of the timeline. We know that it's secure. I think it's easy. We'll train you if you don't think it is. We know it can be moderated. And most importantly, a clean way of sharing. Purposely in this demo, I've shown various colors, various quality of markers, and the ability to show. So with Chris now wrapping up for us, he can go to the timeline on this. Because he was the original moderator, goes all the way back to the beginning of the recording. He can download a copy. And that's the, all right. And then obviously those share options. So during the meeting, any of the participants can pull a snapshot. So if there's only a certain part of the notes that the students or the team is interested in, they can just grab the piece that they need. And now in the in-room world, if I press the button to kill it, which I'm going to do now, we'll wrap up here. Chris, as the moderator, gets an ability. We could suppress that too, but go ahead and cancel that. He then has the final awesomeness. Riddell and Mike get the same function. They get to get not only the full slide stack, but the actual final content. So that's Kaptivo in a nutshell. Gentlemen, did I miss anything, or should we wrap up?
Looks good.
Good. Thanks for tuning in. If you've got any questions, going once, Chris, you're good. Chris is giving me the head nod that he's fine. Mike's good. If you have any questions, 516-282-2880 or sales@perfectvc.com.